There's a couple of things I was going to talk about, but I don't even think I was ready to talk about them because they're still random. They're still drafted like random thoughts. Um, but an observation that was a product of another person's. The person made a thread on thumbnails, top creators and thumbnails, and that was like reminded me of an observation or triggered an observation that I've made that, or like that is ongoing, that then just hit me that way. Exactly, that's like this sort of thing, which is that almost Mr. Beast and Rian videos all almost seem to be primarily based on proving outlier video and thumbnail concept. The thumbnail concept is the thread that I saw that then hit me that yes, even the videos. What that means is that they almost don't make a video that a version of it has not been super viral, either proven on their own channel or by another channel. It's almost no video they've made. It's just hard to find the source. Yeah. But there is this video on the platform that did so well with that concept or that something that they then made their own version of. That's why it's almost always guaranteed to do well. And you see that first of all when Eric repurposed those pranks. Boom, the most successful videos on his channel. Yeah. But Eric, it's not very consistent on Eric's channel. Sometimes they are like maybe ideas that are based on other ideas, but the ideas were not necessarily outliers. They were just good, nice performing. They're not outliers. The thumbnail there is literal evidence of, which is the thread that I stumbled on, and the guy just like compiling. We're trying to talk about a thumbnail, call it secret or trick or technique that top creators use, which is to take successful thumbnails, which is kind of like what we know of. Take successful thumbnail and then remix it. In some cases it did look like copy it pretty much, but which is kind of like what the people in the kids content niche are usually attacked for. But even the top creators, apparently the mainstream creators, do that with thumbnail, and that's what intrigued me, because they always get some thumbnails give off the notion that it is purely 100% original with no form of inspiration even from anything on the platform. So to see what the person put together, I'm like, that's a very important thing to pay attention, because if you don't know this, you might go off and just get creative and come up with a catchy, creative idea that doesn't end up working for reasons that are just not within that you don't know, for reasons you don't know, because maybe there are factors outside of just the primary factors of let it be catchy, let it be bright, that are responsible for that clickability on YouTube. And so even these experimental people, these two being the most experimental, being the biggest and on the forefront of the YouTube mainstream thing, Mr. Beast and Rian, so it's very to see that even both of them don't just try things out of nowhere. They're not trying the most creative thing. They're trying the most proven things that were not necessarily proven for the concept they want to do. In the case of Mr. Beast, it felt even more directly for the concept. It didn't even feel too experimental as it was. Take this and just make a better version of it. As we've seen with concepts, and we've talked about like $1 versus already existing YouTube concept. Take it, make it better. The experimenting, I used to talk about that one from like years ago. A train versus a moving wall or whatever. People always did that. They didn't show their faces, and so he came and did that. You know, those experiment channels always got like hundreds of millions of views. So it's all so. But it was very interesting to see that there was that with Rian of looking at concept that have had like massive performance and then kind of remixing it, like the whole band series that he did. The whole hotel thing too that he did. Sleeping pod, the whole Japan thing. And so back to what I say is that it seems like they almost don't make any video that has not proven to do extremely well. Then they are making some version of it. And by proving to do extremely well, proving to be an outlier, I mean even on their own channel. So some of their videos are not based on any other person's video, but they are based on raw experiments. The video they once did, nobody has ever done it. The thumbnail is from nowhere, and it did so well. And then they are also till now like repurposing their old videos, their old thumbnails that have proven to well. Kind of adds to the line Rian said of put it out to your audience, watch how they respond and respond to their response. And so it's so both from their own video and from just general outliers that are similar to their kind of content. Nobody talks about that emphatically. Everyone talks about making good thumbnails that are eye-catching. Especially with thumbnails, they're like, oh, you want a thumbnail, like Mr. Beast will say, you want an idea that is so strong, it makes you stop, it makes you, I must click, blah blah blah. But doesn't seem like in the Mr. Beast factory, they're just like, what idea will make people stop? I think there is like a foundation on which we then build on looking for eye-catching. It's not coincidence. It cannot be the $1 versus $100 million series cannot be coincidence that it existed before. I don't think they were like, what idea will keep people watching? And somebody was like, $1 this, and they're like, yeah, that's never been done before. Boom. I also don't think, and this is the funniest one, that the train versus giant pit. I don't think that's, where is it? I don't know how much of this is
what?
I don't know. It's literally the same.
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't think they were just like in the factory and like, all right, what is that thing that can grab people? Original, strong, eye-catching, blah 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 idea. People must get people watching. People would blah blah blah. I don't think they're saying that, and this popped up in their head like, oh, train versus giant pit. So there is an aspect, and this I believe has to be top 3, the biggest secrets of the top creators, that there is an aspect of the brainstorm process that is not beautiful, that will not be said. That is an example of what I like to call the ugly truth. Because I don't know how to explain this. You can say anything you want to say about any other ones that we'll still look at. It's the same title. It's the same thumbnail. Then there is just. And then you then have this as a section of this. So I think that's one of the biggest. I think that's one of the biggest tricks in the bag for the top creators. But the way they do it is how they are able to still get respect, whilst doing it. Because a lot of people do it already. That's the platform. The thing is, I was surprised to see 2 of the most unique, supposedly the most original, and the most best put, 2 of the most respected. There is no more creators on the platform more respected than Mr. Beast and Rian. And that's something I admire. I admire that respect because it helps the brand. It helps very well, and it's rewarding for the effort that you put into your content. That the platform in which you put out your content, that there is respect. Now, if disrespect comes as a form of politics, then cool. But disrespect coming from the fact that what you do is not actually respect-worthy, is the kind I don't want. I want to do something that is respect-worthy, and people don't have to respect it. But this is respect-worthy, and to he who is reasonable, he would respect. Hello? Yes, good evening. Okay. All right. Did they give you the address? When you get there, just ask somebody around there. So So nobody talks about that emphatically. Everyone talks about making good thumbnails that are eye-catching and blah blah blah. No one talks about the important factor of finding super viral thumbnails and remixing them. I've never ever had any successful person talk about that. You know, ever as part of their process. And I understand because that would also increase the how quickly these outlier thumbnails get used or repurposed for one thing or the other. And they have their sources, whether an app that they've built or people or websites they've written or some sort of way of finding these, because you're not going to search it and you're just going to see it. And then also taking note of what direction they want to take it. Oh, I saw this one, let me use it in this particular place. So understandably, so also it doesn't sound like, while I understand with it and I agree with it, it doesn't sound like the most respectable thing to present and put at the forefront of every time you're talking about thumbnails. We think of great ideas, we look around. People say we look around. People don't like specify that we like to look for videos that are outliers, that have performed insanely well on some other channel, and then we take those thumbnails and repurpose them. Sometimes almost the same, and sometimes almost same to say the same, and sometimes we take the geometry, or we take something. Big creators' secret right there, and there's evidence of a ton of Mr. Beast, Rian and Iraq thumbnails being remixes of outlier thumbnails. It's not an expose, it's instead an information. And most importantly, for me, it's very important because I want to stand out. I want to create unique content. I want to apply creativity. So I'm going to look at certain things that others are doing and say, I want to do it this way. It is important that I understand all the nuances. And so I don't pick a thumbnail and I'm like, you know what, for this video, I'm going to do a creative thumbnail that is eye-catching, that is whatever. That will be too experimental, and I don't know what factors. I'm too new to the culture, as old as I am already, new to the culture to stand on myself and say I'm 100% sure of all the factors, this must work. I still don't know 100% how the mind of the average American teenager works. Enough that to know what will click. So maybe then this becomes a lesson that okay, don't just do something out of nowhere. Still get creative, but let it not be out of nowhere. Let there be something that has done super well that you are kind of remixing. And like the thumbnail for this video is kind of like that. Is that there is a thumbnail like this that has had success. But it's not like this almost at all. But there was this, it was divided into two, black and white, colored. There was milk and bad bread. There was prime, pizza and fries. And so I then remix it. Instead of splitting it, I did it this way, use a chalkboard in the back, use a chalk-like writing in the back, still maintaining the elements of recognition like the milk, batter bread, then this. So it's still, this is an example of what it is. This is based on an outlier thumbnail of the guy who cooked 100 years of school lunch. But it's not like our guys that literally just the same formula. Okay, not even, it's not, well, okay, but no, they split themselves into, so fair play. Because he did himself here, then himself here, so this is still cool. Anyways, so it's not news for somebody who is in the space and just going ahead to do what people in the space do. It's news for somebody who's in the space and is considering standing out and being unique. So it's important to note that some of the people two of the people that have stood out the most and been the most unique, remember to ensure that there's evidence of the concept working before they still did it. So it's like, oh, okay. So I won't go there and just get crazy with my concepts and my thumbnails. All right. Well, no taking. If there's no evidence of it, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just leave it and only invest effort into the top concepts that have proven to work in some way. That's the lesson there. And then literally a lesson from Rian is like, do that, and then the other house you can then get creative. Your sound, your thumbnail style, all those ones. Get creative with those ones. The concept of the thumbnail and the concept of the video. Maybe you want evidence that has worked before. The structure of the video, the style of the thumbnail, the style of the video, So for concept, so you want proof of concept, then just do any style. Find concepts, both video and thumbnail concepts that have proven to work. Then now do it in your own style so that it's unique. That's kind of like the lesson there. And so, it's it feels like a truth that what you should not know, because it's so complete. It's like that's almost all you need to know. In a way. But it's kind of the truth they're not supposed to tell people until they reach a certain level. Then you find out about this. Because if you just got this in the beginning and you still don't know all the other things, you'll not be the worst version of the people doing this. But all those things will ensure that when you do this, you are not the worst version of the people doing this. But it's just like, oh wow. It's purely industry practice. Now, like I said, if you are trying to go with everybody in the industry, it's obvious that everybody is repurposing thumbnails. It's when you are trying to stand out. It's counterintuitive to want to stand out by looking at what is popular and trying to make a remix of it. You would think that, that means like, let me show them. Let me just think by myself and come up with an angle of a thumbnail. Now, does not mean that would not work, but it's experimental. It may not, which means that it seems that there are still factors that there are factors that are somewhat significant that we still don't all understand when it comes to the success of a thumbnail. So even the top creators do not 100% just want to make a thumbnail and say, hey, this is the concept in my mind. Because it looks like there's still factors. And when there is no outlier concept to take from, then they get creative and try, and they're like, let's see. Not too sure about that one, but let's see. Who knows? Maybe it works. So, and so it's really something that you would just not know. It's like to be unique is to be unique and get creative, and you just not know that there's like a unique creative way of doing the exact same thing everybody is doing. And also and then the choice of it's outliers from like years ago, or niches that you don't even know that are not in your front. So when it comes to mainstream, it's like, I've seen this thumbnail for the first time, but we're going to go through a bunch of them here and you would not believe it. So we know that to be the case with a ton of creators. The news for me is seeing that to be the case for the two supposedly most original guys on the platform, Ryan and Mr. Beast, the two most respected and ethical guys in the space doing that. They are the most respected and the most ethical. They do their best in the space. They do their best to do the right thing. So the two most respected and ethical guys in the space doing that not only gives that a green light to me and a pass, but it also defines that as, if not the only way, at least the best practice. Because these are the two most respected and ethical. It automatically makes it respectable and ethical. When the most respected and ethical people do that. You want to learn ethics from the most respected and ethical people on the space. Because they are in the space, and then they did that, and the space to respect them. Okay, so this is cool in this space, even though it is not public knowledge that they do that. You understand? So this is cool. All right, cool. I'll do that. You understand? So it's not only a green light and a pass, because the green light is like, I should be doing that. But also defines that as, if not the only way, at least the best practice. If it's not the only way, if at all it's not the only way. I don't know if it's the only way, but the two of them doing it and being the two guys at the top, almost one can suggest it as the only way. But I can't say something is only because I don't know everything. But at least the guaranteed one is that it is the best practice. That your concepts, you want your concepts to be based on outlier concepts, proven outlier concepts, your video concepts. Basically, when it comes to concept, you want it to be based on proven outliers, whether that is for the video idea or for the thumbnail. That's the thing about every space that I've talked about in the past. Some of the best practices of every space, so every industry, every activity, every job are dirty truths that no one goes around sharing. And understandably so, But yeah, it is what it is.